Hey there! Are you struggling with color changes in your crochet project? I'm going to show you some simple tricks on changing color within rows as well as in your rounds for amigurumi. Let's get started. So we're looking at color changes with crochet, and there's some different ways we can go about it. We're going to talk about working in rows as well as mid-project color changes. If we take a look at this piece, on the ends, you're going to see 3 different techniques. So this first one is if you hate weaving in your ends. I hate weaving in my ends. And I don't mind this extra little color. If you're really good at the magic knot, then this will be seamless. I'm not good at eyeballing how much yarn to use, but I don't like weaving in the end, so this is the perfect method for me. The next section here is going to be fastening off and then creating a slip knot. So it's a pretty even color change, but you do have 2 tails and 2 knots to weave into your project. And then the third one will be continuing on with your stitches. So without a slip knot, you're just kind of gonna chain into the color. And I'm going to show you each of these steps, but those are the 3 side color changes when you're changing on the ends. So it just depends on what you feel like doing and what you're comfortable with. I'm going to go in and we're going to work through each of these. I will have all of these time-stamped down in the description. So if you want to just jump ahead, let's say you really only want to learn how to do this method. Here we are, ready to change our color. Now, normally we would chain 1 and turn and then go on. So we want this to now be the yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip it off, but I'm not going to fasten off. I'm actually going to pull this out, and then I'm going to put my hook back in here. I'm going to pull this yarn out. I've got my 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to have my orange. I'm going to cross over with my blue. Okay, I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to take my orange down, and then I'm going to push my orange back up under the blue. So we're at here right now. I'm going to take my orange, put it behind the blue, and now I'm going to be going around the orange with my blue through the loop. Okay, and then I'm going to be pulling these 2 tightly together. There we go. And you'll see that nothing moves. It's pretty solid. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to snip off close to that knot as I can without hitting the knot. And again, you can see that it's pretty snug on there. So then I just continue on with my color change. So here is my loop, and then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And you can finagle it so that your knot goes on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and then I'm going to go in and single crochet along. But certainly not a perfect color change, but it definitely saves you if you do not like weaving in your ends. So if that is something that doesn't bother you, having the perfect edge color change, but now you're saving yourself from weaving in your ends, I hope it helps you out. Now, some people get really good at it and they can know exactly how much to use or to cut and where to tie their knot, and their color changes are absolutely seamless and it's beautiful. That is not me. I'm not there, but I don't have to weave in anything. So it's a little funky because of this yarn, but that'll get tucked into the next row. All right, let's now talk about the next edge, and that is just simply fastening off and then using a slip knot to begin. For this row, we are going to simply fasten off. We're going to pull through. Make that nice and tight. Okay. And then we are going to grab our color change and create a slip knot. I'm going to have nothing on my hook. I'm going to go through that last single crochet. I'm going to grab my color. I'm going to pull it through, and I am going to hold that tail out of the way and do one chain. And then I'm going to kind of snugly pull both of those, turn, and then I'm single crocheting into that row. That's with the slip stitch. You'll see you do have two long tails that you are going to have to weave in. Some people carry it along, but I find that just kind of pulls right out. I would like to go in and weave it in through kind of the chunkiest parts. So for this next method, what we're going to do is after we fasten off, we're going to turn our work as if we already chained one. I'm going to put my slip knot on my hook. I'm holding my tail behind my piece. And now I'm going to, with my slip knot on the hook, I'm going to go into my single crochet here down my stitch. I'm going to grab, pull up one, grab, pull up two. So I just made my first single crochet on that side. And then you continue on. All right. So here we have the color changes. On the ends, now you can see we have, that's our starting tail here. I have fastening off and doing a typical chain to join here. So you can see it's a little bit more knotted on the ends. You've got two knots that you have to weave in. Then we have up here, we have our single crochet in to join. It gives it a little bit smoother. You only have the one knot at the fasten off. So it's kind of a smoother change up here. You are going to have to weave in both of these tails in these two methods, but this one you do notice there is a slight gap, or in this case you see the fraying, but I would probably try to tuck that in a little bit better. But you have no weaving in to do on that one. So those are the three ways to color change in a row on the end. I'm going to show you a mid-row color change, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about amigurumi. I want to change into this blue. There's two ways you can do it. The first way is to do your single crochet. You're not going to finish the single crochet, so you're just doing the first part of the single crochet. All right, so I have my two loops on my hook. Before I finish off that single crochet, I'm going to grab my next color and loop it. I'm going to pull it through, and then you're going to notice on the back things are kind of loose. So what I'm going to do is I am grabbing those two tails and kind of holding down on those two tails. And then I go into the next single crochet and continue on as normal. So that is the quickest method to do a color change mid-row. This next one I'm going to show you is just a little extra step, but it will be a little bit easier in the long run. You can see on these, what I typically will do when I do a color change mid-row like this is I will take those pieces and I will snip and then I will tie them together. Now this one I'm going to be grabbing my orange as I go. So I left it uncut. But what I am going to do, so I would just make sure to weave that in really well. So here's the next method, just keeps everything a little bit more secure, is I finished my last color. I have my loop out. I'm going to pull my hook out of my loop, and then I'm going to bring my hook into those 2 loops that are down on the side here. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to go through here. So I have 2 loops. Then I'm going to actually pull my yarn out at this point. I don't know why it makes a difference, but it really does. I think it's because you don't have to be holding 2 tails as you're working. And since I'm just picking up yarn colors as I turn, it makes it a lot easier. I'm going to turn again, and I'll show you that one more time. I change back over here. So I pull it up. I go into those front loops on the side. Okay, I pull my yarn out. I bring this yarn up, pull through, and continue on. All right, there it is. So we had our mid-row color change in the 2 different ways. We have our color change on the sides 3 different ways. Then you would weave in your ends in the different sections, so you can kind of see where the color changes there, the edges. Okay, I am going to show you how to do the color change within a round. It is identical to our mid-row change, but you're just going to be working in a round. So here we have a round already ready to go, and it's ready for its next row. So for our color change here, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go through those front 2 loops, pull it out, grab my next color, loop it over my hook, pull it through those 2, make sure that tail is tight in the back, and continue on. So that is a simple color change in the round. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I have a few more videos coming out. The next one will be about color changes seamlessly with amigurumi. So having the different color change styles. And a few other tips and tricks that are coming your way, as well as more patterns and just crochet goodies. So I hope you follow along, and I will see you next time. Happy crocheting!